The Erik Ten Hag era at Manchester United is underway, with player arrivals and departures in the works. Preseason begins late June, and players need to impress. That begins with leadership. It's rumored that David De Gea, Bruno Fernandes, or Cristiano Ronaldo will take on the captain's armband next season. If Paul Pogba returns to Juventus like he did in this save, that would be an incredible storyline. It's still unsure whether Wan-Bissaka will leave the club, but 25 million from Dortmund is not a bad fee. Edinson Cavani will see his return to Serie A as he arrives at Roma for 12.5 million. Eric Bailly to Lazio for 12.5 million, and actually a confirmed transfer. Nemanja Matic will be reuniting with Jose Mourinho at Roma. Jesse Lingard's time at West Ham was largely successful, so I'm hoping that he can get this move to further his career. There was a lot of hype when Donny van de Beek arrived at Manchester United, and with his ties to Ten Hag, I'm hoping that he can catch good form and play a big role in the United squad. And in my opinion, United needs squad depth at striker, so having Martial back from his loan spell at Sevilla wouldn't be a bad thing. And I think it's without question that these younger talents will get opportunities with Ten Hag at the helm. That plays nicely into our homegrown talent. James Bernard is a right midfielder, 68 rated, with potential of 78 to 94. We're going to keep building up this youth academy so that we can hopefully have the next class of 92, adding two separate 5-star scouts, one from England, the other from Croatia. These 9-month networks will be in England, Wales, and Scotland. I'll check back on these players toward the end of season 1. But our youth academy is a long-term plan. We need to spend some of this 175 million in our transfer budget in order to get United back into Champions League football. I think success in England is the top priority, but doing well in Europa League would also be a good thing. We've been placed into the Europa League with a group consisting of Olympiacos, Fenerbahce, and Royal Antwerp. Darwin Núñez has had a prolific season at Benfica, scoring 26 goals across 28 appearances in Liga Portugal. Every day there seems to be something new in the talks between them and Manchester United, but we'll complete the signing for 50 million. It's well above the player's valuation, but he's versatile enough to play at striker or out wide for us. In order to work in Ten Hag's system, defenders need to be comfortable on the ball and also be able to pass out of the back. I'm sure he wouldn't mind bringing in talents that he managed at Ajax like Jurriën Timber. Perhaps he can be the answer to Manchester United's defense. The exciting prospect signs for 50 million. Definitely a player for the future and also the present as he'll go into our starting 11. Many argue that a midfielder, particularly a defensive-minded one, is what Manchester United need to sign in the summer. And we're going to turn towards the Premier League to complete the signing of Calvin Phillips, of course part of a Leeds side that narrowly escaped relegation. Some of England's top clubs are looking to get his signature, but we're going to complete the transfer for 40 million. This is a great transfer, and I'm sure that Phillips will be a long-term part of our squad. There's also some uncertainty of what's going to be happening at the goalkeeper position. Coming off of a great season, De Gea seems to have secured the starting spot. That begs the question of what's going to happen with Dean Henderson. Is he okay with the backup role? Is he going to get another loan move or a permanent transfer? I think it's important for us to plan for the future and sign a player whose contract is expiring at season's end. Mark Flecken is part of a Freiburg side that performed above expectations, also nearly securing Champions League football. But anyways, we're going to complete the signing for 12 million, which is exactly what his evaluation is at. Our Premier League season is ready to get underway. Formation-wise, I haven't made too many changes. Ten Hag has been known to work well with different tactics, which is one of his many qualities. But we'll see if we've taken a step in the right direction towards top 4 in Champions League football. We did have our share of setbacks along the way with 2 separate injuries, both being from some of our new additions. That didn't seem to halter us too much outside of a Liverpool squad that has gone undefeated so far. We've done quite well, still only 5 points behind league leaders. Also finishing top of our Europa League group. That is of course expected, but you need to put in the performances. As far as what we'll do moving forward, I want to make sure that these injuries don't set back our squad. Usually I don't use development plans that change a player's skill move, weak foot, or work rates, but this is going to be an exception to help Timber fulfill his potential. And we finally got a realistic offer for Henderson. A Prem move would be the best option in my opinion, and Leicester City can be a good fit for 25 million. Slowly but surely, our squad is getting back to full sharpness, and we'll head into some Europa League knockout stage action against Lille in the round of 16. A 3-3 draw in the first leg, but we do get the winning result in the second leg. Clearly, we still have our share of defensive struggles, but hopefully we can keep these good results going into the quarterfinals against Napoli. It's Insigne who scores the only goal of the match. He is, of course, leaving Napoli at season's end, but it's another 1-0 result in the second leg, meaning that European competitions will see an early end, but that might not have been a bad thing because the Premier League was always going to be our focus. We're going all the way to the final match day against Crystal Palace, and we need a winning result. The second half of the season hasn't gone nearly as well. Because of that, teams like Spurs are looking to leapfrog us in the standings. But I did promise a closer look at some of our youth academy talents. I've narrowed things down to 6 players. Of course, we know our homegrown talent Bernard, but a few other talents that were an original part of our youth academy ended up keeping their potential, which is a rarity. Gauthier is a 69 rated left winger from France, 87 to 93 potential. Charles Wills, a 64 rated English goalkeeper, excellent potential of 91 to 94. Another original youth academy player, Alvaro Moyano, has gone through a position change now to center attacking mid. Because of that, he's seen a huge rise in his rating to 63, keeping his potential of 87 to 93. Adam Wynn is a 60 rated Welsh center midfielder, 88 to 94 potential. Lastly, we have Charlie Davies, a 58 rated left midfielder from Wales, shows some resemblances to Manchester United's all-time appearance leader, Ryan Giggs. Hopefully he can fulfill that 85 to 94 potential. But of course, as young talents come through, older players will eventually retire, like Juan Mata in this save. As long as the scoreline goes in our favor, I'll try to make sure that Mata gets a final appearance for the club, even if it's away from Old Trafford. But it didn't take us long for us to open up the scoring. Bruno Fernandes finds Jadon Sancho to give us our first goal, and we were really all over this Crystal Palace squad. Just good awareness from Ronaldo to play the square pass to Darwin Nunez. Happy to see him involved in the scoring, growing in his confidence after an injury. Here's that change, Van de Beek for Mata. Still 40 minutes or so left, and we're also going to make an appearance for our homegrown talent. Sancho for Bernard. I promised that our youth academy players would get an opportunity, and Bernard made good on it. A beautiful cross sent in, and it's Nunez to get a brace. Just minutes remaining in this fixture, but that'll do a lot for squad morale, guaranteeing us Champions League football next season. Taking a look at final standings, it's a good thing we got the winning result. Otherwise, we would have risked dropping down to Europa League again. Relegation spots going to Fulham, Bournemouth, and Southampton, and Sheffield United and Watford that will see the return to the Premier League next season. FA Cup went fairly well for us, making it to the 5th round, but losing out to QPR. It's Spurs that'll end their trophy drought as they defeat Preston in the final. Carabao Cup didn't go so well, a 3rd round exit to Birmingham City, with Manchester City defeating Leeds United in the final. A fantastic season for Liverpool. They'll pick up the double with both the Premier League title as well as Champions League, defeating Barcelona on penalties. We, of course, saw that quarterfinals exit in Europa League with Milan defeating Real Sociedad in the final stage of the competition. Conference League going to Roma. I said how good Fernandes was in the gameplay, and apparently he's putting up great numbers in simulations as well. 22 goals across 51 appearances, also leading the club in assists, the only player to get into the double digits in that category. And outside of Harry Kane, he was the only player in the Premier League to reach double digits. Even though we've seen a drop in our manager rating, I'd still consider this season a success for Ten Hag, and next year we'll see even more players join to fit our system. Champions League football is officially back at Old Trafford. If you're enjoying the rebuild so far, make sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new around here. Anytime there's a change in management, the process takes time, but clearly the board wants results. We have to win the Premier League, win the FA Cup, and also win Champions League. With that said, I'm confident we can get out of the group stage. Our opponents will consist of Leverkusen, Atalanta, and Gent. And moreover, we've seen another rise in our transfer budget. 400 million. I don't think I could spend all of that if I even wanted to, but we will see a big name arrival. Manchester United are trying to sign Frenkie de Jong at the time of me recording this, but I think it's a bit more realistic if he's moving to a club with Champions League football like we've now secured. Ideally, we would have picked him up on a lesser transfer fee, but with his potential, his value is only going to go up and up, signing for 175 million. To my surprise, there's not that many young right wingers that have a decent amount of potential, but I think Antony fits our system well. He shares a lot of similarities with Jadon Sancho, the 5-star skills, also being able to cut inside on his preferred foot from the right side. This 85 million deal is a good move because not only are we adding quality to our starting 11, now our competitors can't sign Antony. We will see a couple of departures. Lewandowski apparently set to leave Bayern, so they need a replacement striker. Martial arriving for 35 million. Harry Maguire staying in the Premier League, signing for Chelsea, who had their fair share of center back departures, arriving for 25 million. Fred is going to be joining Lyon for 25 million. And Sociedad will sign Alex Tejas for 20 million. With the amount of money that we spent, expectations are certainly high, but now that we have quality across the board and players that will work in the Ten Hag system, who knows what we might be able to accomplish. It's January 2023 and the Premier League table will see its fair share of surprises. Not only are we first, but last year's league winners, Liverpool, are all the way down in 8th. And there were 3 teams that were performing well in our group stage of Champions League, but we will end up on top with 13 points. It seems like our transfer rivals have have played out perfectly, both De Jong and Antony growing in their overall rating. The one downside to Ronaldo getting older is that he is dropping in his overall. I know there's an option in his current contract to extend a further season, but I think we'll be letting him leave on a free at the end of the year. That gives us even more motivation to get results in the present moment. We'll start in the round of 16 of Champions League against RB Leipzig, a 1-1 draw away from home, but a 3-1 outing in our home leg will put us through to the quarterfinals, and it's Liverpool that will match up against. 2-1 in the away fixture and 5-4 at home. It was a thrilling outing that took until extra time. The goals from Ronaldo and Antony will see us through 7-5 on aggregate. Some great storylines so far in our Champions League journey as we match up against City in the semi-finals. A late penalty from Bruno Fernandes will give us a 3-1 lead on aggregate. That was just enough to see us through to the final of Champions League. That'll be against PSG, but first I do want to cover some of the other results. United's 98-99 season was the only time an English club has won the treble with the FA Cup, Premier League, and Champions League. We're one step closer to replicating that as we picked up a 3-2 victory against Crystal Palace, and we can get 2/3 of the way there if we can get a winning result against Arsenal. Not only are we scoring goals, but we're seemingly doing better defensively because we won this match as well, meaning that we just need to win this Champions League final. A final look at the Premier League standings sees us finish 5 points clear of Manchester City. On the opposite end is Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, and Nottingham Forest going down to the Championship. Speaking of which, Southampton see their immediate return to the Premier League alongside Blackburn Rovers. There's even a slight chance of us winning the quadruple, but Liverpool knocked us out in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, going on to win the competition against Spurs in the final. And because we won't be able to make this a longer term rebuild and see how some of our youth academy talents ended up, I simulated 5 seasons into the future, and Gauthier ended up being our highest rated talent, 89 rated at 22 years old. Right behind him is the other original youth academy player, Moyano, fulfilling an 87 rating. Charles Wills will be the next player. He's actually transferred away to Crystal Palace at an 84 overall. I was expecting more from Bernard, to be honest, but maybe he never got into the Manchester United starting 11 on the simulations because he only reached an 82 rating. Next up is Charlie Davies, the Ryan Giggs-esque sort of player, transferring away to Elche, only at an 80 overall. Finally, it's Adam Wynn, our other youth academy player from Wales, still at the club at a 76 overall. But it's Champions League final time. We're going for the treble. PSG going for their first title in this competition. Throughout this rebuild, I was trying to check off some of Ten Hag's priorities at the club, like respecting Manchester United's history, featuring young players, and also playing attacking-minded football. So far in this Champions League final, it seems like we're doing just that. Although it is one of our older players that sets up Calvin Phillips, eventually playing over to Bruno Fernandes, and our top goal scorer and top assist maker from Season 1 steps up as well here. As we make a change, it's Bernard to feature in the 68th minute. Can our homegrown talent make the difference and become really a hero here at United? It is De Jong, though, our new signing. He had the pace to get by the PSG defense, and it's Jadon Sancho to make things too. That ended up being enough for us to see out this victory. Not only were we strong on the attacking front, our defense limited the opportunities for our opponents. Fernandes, by and far being the best player in this rebuild, deserves to lift this Champions League trophy. Quickly reviewing other competitions, Atletico Madrid will get the victory in Europa League, Sociedad getting the win in Conference League. And I think Fernandes had an even better year this time. 29 goals across 60 appearances, 22 assists to go along with that. Finally seeing a rise in our manager rating, but here's a look at the final Manchester United squad. I want to hear your predictions in the comment section, how you think United will do next season. If you enjoy the rebuild, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, but until next time, this has been Flick. I'll be talking to you all again soon.